Arrests take place locally for two different murders. Candice Glover is awarded with a local honor, and Beaufort flood insurance is on the rise. We'll bring you those details. Keep watching Beaufort. Your news starts now. Thanks for joining us for the Beaufort News. I'm Jessa Jeremiah, and here are your local headlines. Beaufort police recently arrested 21-year-old Quentin Ventris for attempted murder, attempted armed robbery, and possession of a firearm. Ventris and another suspect were attempting to rob a man when the man escaped and shots were fired. Ventris was also charged with possession of crack cocaine, which was discovered in his pocket during the arrest. The incident occurred on October 3rd at the Spanish Trace apartment. A suspect in the 2009 shooting death of a Seabrook man has just recently been arrested. Jasper County authorities arrested 26-year-old Jeremy LaVon Murphy on unrelated charges and found he was wanted for murder. Murphy was wanted for the shooting that killed 27-year-old Ronald Coleman Jr. in his Seabrook Road home on June 22nd of 2009. Murphy returned to the Beaufort County Detention Center where he will remain to face his murder charge. Beaufort's AutoZone was the site of an armed burglary recently. Police say two men wearing masks rushed into the AutoZone on Boundary Street and pointed their handguns at two employees who were trying to close for the night. The suspects ordered the workers to go to the back of the building and demanded all of the cash in the store. Thankfully, no one was hurt. This is the second time in 3 years that AutoZone has been robbed. It's a proud week in St. Helena Island for fans of American Idol winner Candice Glover, who was recently honored with road signs by the Beaufort County Legislative Delegation. State leaders joined Department of Transportation officials to unveil the new Candice Glover road signs that are already posted by the Chowan Creek Bridge. This is the community's way to say that they are proud to have her as their own American Idol. Another protest took place in front of the Beaufort City Hall recently. Members of the American Federation of Government Workers Union came to rally in support of the all non-DoD employees who are still on furlough from the government shutdown. Countless cars drove past Beaufort City Hall honking their horns in agreement with the AFGE members. Even though all of them returned to work this week, they say they still empathize with those who haven't. Worship services for Catholics have been canceled at Parris Island and the Marine Corps Air Station in Beaufort recently because of the government shutdown. The Marine Corps Air Station contracts out its Catholic services, and since there haven't been any active duty Catholic priests on the base, they've suspended those services. Concerned Christians are worried that their worship rights are being affected by the shutdown. Services won't start again until additional funding is found. As National Fire Prevention Week came to a close, students at Mossy Oaks Elementary School learned how to be better prepared for it. The students had 4 days of learning all about fire safety, including how to dial 911 and knowing what to do when a fire alarm sounds. The week-long education also helps them to feel safe around firefighters. This week, Beaufort Fire and Rescue will visit Beaufort High School to talk about kitchen safety and fire extinguishers. The Jasper County School District will be honoring some of its outstanding students during an event called the Evening of Excellence. Parents in the community are invited to join the Jasper County School District as it celebrates the academic achievements of some of its students. The event will also recognize elementary and high school students who scored exemplary on high-stakes tests. The event will take place at 7 p.m. on October 21st. And here's what's happening around the state. A South Carolina woman is fed up after the 5th time a car has come crashing into her yard. Joanne Murdaugh of Columbia said the most recent one was the scariest for her and her family as someone actually hit her house. Murdaugh says that the incident first happened in 1975, and since then at least 20 people have ran into her fence alone. Murdaugh says she's called the DOT twice since the accident, but hasn't heard back from them yet. The Mayor's Walk Against Domestic Violence took place in Finley Park, Columbia over the weekend. Organizations from around the Midlands had representatives raising awareness about domestic violence, including the Columbia Police Department and Sister Care, which has many services for domestic violence victims. Verizon Wireless presented Sister Care with $2,000 to go towards victim services. Over 1,200 people participated in the event. The race to be the state's #2 executive is getting a candidate with strong ties to South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. Charleston developer Pat McKinney announced his plans to seek the GOP nomination for the job of lieutenant governor recently. McKinney is said to have a very close relationship with Republican Nikki Haley. Political observers say that you could see a Haley-McKinney team preview in 2018. If you'd like additional information on these headlines, you can reference the media sources that you see listed on your screen. Also, you can like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. Coming up, we'll talk to WHHI's own Kayla Logue about the flood insurance rate increases and a $40 million tax sale. And we have a Beaufort business report that you won't want to miss, and that's just around the corner, so stay with us.
Low Country Real Estate is located in historic downtown Beaufort, home to one of the most attractive real estate markets in America. We've been providing high-quality service to our community for the past 24 years. Whether you're interested in buying or selling residential, resort, or commercial investment property, our professional sales staff can help you with your real estate needs. Please visit lowcountryrealestate.com for details on all available properties in Beaufort, and come see how the Low Country becomes you.
Welcome back to the Beaufort News. Joining us first, we have our hot off the press report with Miss Kayla Logue, and Kayla has lots of interesting stories to share with us, so welcome, Kayla.
Hi, Jessa.
So Kayla, the first story that I want to talk about is the flood insurance rate increase. So there has been an extreme hike in price that is affecting some citizens of Beaufort. So tell me how this is affecting these citizens.
Well, this national flood insurance increase that began on October 1st is now affecting some property owners in Beaufort. Over 7,000 out of 93,000 of Beaufort County's properties with flood policies have subsidized rates. Behind Charleston County, Beaufort County has the most properties with subsidized rates.
Okay, and I know this is affecting lots of different people, but it makes me think about realtors in the area. So when they come to mind, talk to me about the effects it's having on them.
Well, the realtors are actually really worried because the new law provides no subsidies for new owners. Also, many lenders must have flood insurance if the home is in a flood area. The only way to out of these expenses, according to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, would be to pay for the house in cash and risk not having the insurance.
Okay, well, we'll be on the lookout for those increases, Kayla, and how it's affecting those around Beaufort. Now, tell us about this other story that is the Beaufort County delinquent tax sale. So my understanding is that Beaufort County collected almost $40 million. Is that right?
Yes, well, this year's tax sale raised a record amount of money due to the bidders spending more money than ever. And over the 850 properties that with unpaid taxes were auctioned, which led to the $40 million raise.
All right, and I want to get to one more story. So let's talk about this smartphone story. I understand that there's an app that allows you to report your neighbors for different violations. So what's that all about?
Well, SafeBelt, the code enforcement contractor of Beaufort, is now using the smartphone app called the Government Outreach that allows you to anonymously report violations by attaching pictures and describing the problem that you're actually involved.
And how exactly does the app allow you to do this?
The program uses GPS to show exactly where the violation is, and the app emails a report of violations to the city officials. People can also check the reports they've made to see if the problems that they reported have been resolved.
All right, well, interesting stuff, Kayla Logue. Thank you for your hot off the press report. WHHI's Will Wareham is here for our business report. Welcome, Will.
Thanks, Jessa. How you doing today?
I'm great, thanks. How are you doing?
Great.
Well, glad to have you. Now, first of all, I want to ask you about gas prices. We've noticed that gas prices around the state are finally coming down. So talk to me about this. What's going on?
That's right. So AAA Carolinas is reporting that the average gas price in South Carolina is as low as it's been all year. Gas prices in South Carolina are averaged right around $3.10 compared to $3.25 a month ago and $3.50 a year ago. The last time gas was cheaper in South Carolina was Christmas of last year. The dramatic drop in gas prices mix of the reason is a result of decreased demand due to the end of summer driving season, refineries switching to cheaper winter fuel blends, and lower crude prices. The agency is also saying that the federal government shutdown is also leading to drop in prices because furloughed workers aren't commuting to work. AAA Carolinas expects that gas prices will continue to drop between now and Thanksgiving. Myrtle Beach has the state's lowest gas price for a gallon of gas at $3.05. Charleston and Beaufort have the highest gas price in the state of right around $3.15. Missouri has the cheapest gas in the United States, and South Carolina is second only to Missouri for average gas price.
Okay, well, whatever the reason, we're glad that they're coming down. Now, really quick, I would also like to get an update about unemployment. So what can you tell me about this? Tell me about locally and statewide, what's going on?
There was a spike in initial uninsurance claims after the summer season layoffs. You know, you get those summer jobs, and then those summer jobs go away in the fall. So there was a spike in applications for first-time unemployment insurance after the summer jobs, but that seems to have leveled out a little bit. And in August of 2013, our first-time uninsurance claims dropped by 6%, and which is lower than last August's first-time uninsurance claims, and 10% lower than August of 2011.
Okay.
So we're doing pretty well.
All right. Well, great. Will Wareham, thank you so much. That's our business report. After the break, we're joined by CODA, who's here to tell us what you can do to support Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And we'll bring you details on the development plans for the Beaufort Inn, so stick around.
Allison Ramsey Architects believes that good design is a result of a collaborative effort between the architect, the builder, and most importantly, the client. The low country lifestyle incorporates all aspects of the home, and good design reflects the character of a family. No longer items of luxury, good design is standard. Let us help you craft a home built with everyday living in mind. Allison Ramsey Architects, creating sustainable, timeless design.
Welcome back to the Beaufort News. Joining us now is Kristen Dabrowski, who's the Executive Director of CODA, which stands for Citizens Opposed to Domestic Abuse. And she is here to talk to us about domestic violence awareness. So welcome, Kristen. Glad to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Kristen, it's Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So these questions arise. How common is the issue of domestic violence in South Carolina and the Low Country? Talk to us about that first.
Unfortunately, domestic violence is all too common in South Carolina and the Low Country. Currently, South Carolina is ranked first in the nation for the rate of women murdered by men. That's a study published by the Violence Policy Center. And within the counties CODA serves, which are Beaufort, Colleton, Hampton, and Jasper counties, we see it as being a huge issue. Beaufort County ranks 10th in the state for the number of domestic violence victims, with 1,673 victims reported to the State Law Enforcement Division in 2011. So it's a really big issue, and then that translates to the services that CODA provides. Annually, we serve around 600 adult and child victims of domestic violence and receive thousands of calls to our 24-hour hotline.
Okay, well, that's an awful lot of people that are needing your services. So for somebody who's got experience with these kinds of victims, why do you think domestic violence is such a problem in the area?
I think there are a lot of reasons domestic violence is a problem. One of the biggest reasons being that just as a community, as a society, we don't really take it as seriously as we take a lot of other crimes, and it's not viewed as shameful like some other crimes, like child abuse, for example. In an instance like that, you know, if there's someone who abuses children, it seems Like it's easy for the community to rally around and really support the victim and really hold the offender accountable for the crime. But when it comes to domestic violence, we hear a lot of victim blaming, people saying, well, you know, why doesn't she just leave? She must like it, she must deserve it, when nobody deserves to be abused ever. And offenders need to be held accountable. And, you know, if you're friends with someone who you know is abusive, and abuse can take many forms, not only physical, verbal, emotional, financial. If you're friends with someone who's doing these behaviors, to let them know that it's not okay, and to, you know, break off those relationships with them, and hold them accountable for their actions.
Absolutely. And you mentioned, you know, the people that are in abusive relationships or somebody who knows somebody in a situation like this. How do viewers who have a situation at home or know somebody get access to CODA's services?
Through our 24-hour hotline is usually a person's first point of contact with us. We also have a website, which is codalowcountry.org, and the hotline is 1-800-868-CODA. A lot of folks who call us because they know they're in abusive relationships, but we do get a lot of calls from people who aren't sure if their relationship is abusive. A lot of times if you're in a relationship, it doesn't start off physically abusive or emotionally abusive necessarily right away. It builds up over time. And so we'll have people call us and describe different situations that they're experiencing, you know, like name calling, manipulation, threats, things like that. So we're able to talk to them about what domestic violence is, what services we offer, and all the information is also available on our website. And we do have people who call on behalf of friends or family members who might be experiencing abuse in their relationships, and we're absolutely able to give them information to take back to the person who might be experiencing the abuse.
Okay, Kristen, very informative. A special thank you to Kristen Dabrowski and to CODA for all that you do.
Thank you very much.
Joining us now is Courtney Worrell of 303 Associates for the Beaufort Inn, who's here to tell us about the new development plan. So thanks for coming on today, Courtney.
Thanks for having me, Jessa.
Well, it is our pleasure. Now, I understand that the Beaufort Inn has submitted a master plan for approval, of course, by the city's Historic Review Board. So talk to us about this and tell us more about this project.
Sure, I'd be happy to. We recently just finished the renovation of 2 historic cottages on the Beaufort Inn property. That allowed us to add 6 additional guest rooms to the Beaufort Inn. And as we finished up that project, we thought we'd take a look at the long-term master plan for the Beaufort Inn block as a whole. And as we looked at that, we realized that we had the opportunity to take our existing 31 rooms to around 73 over the course of time through a series of additional cottage buildings.
Okay, and you mentioned these new buildings. Are these going to be different than the buildings that are already part of the Beaufort Inn, or is this going to really look cohesive? Tell me about that.
Well, they'll be different in that they'll be new buildings, and each building will be unique, but we certainly are intent to complement the existing architectural and historic cottage style of the buildings that are already on the Beaufort Inn block. The Garden Cottage, which is one of the Beaufort Inn buildings now, many people think it's a historic building, but it was actually built in 2004 to replace a metal warehouse that was on the Beaufort Inn block. Many of our guests request this building again and again, and it's our intent that these new buildings would be in that vein of the Garden Cottage.
Okay, well that sounds great. And now we've also had a chance to review the plans that your company submitted for a project across the street from the Beaufort Inn. So is that part of the master plan, or is that a different project?
It's not part of the Beaufort Inn master plan. It's a separate project. Like you said, it is across the street from the Beaufort Inn, so we're very sensitive to the context between the two. It's a separate project, and it would be offering 1, 2, and 3 bedroom residential units. We're excited because we think it'd bring additional people to the downtown historic district, and it's a good project because it's in keeping with the City of Beaufort's civic master plan.
Okay, and you said there's 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units. So sounds like residencies. Are they for sale? Can people buy them? Tell me about that.
People could buy them, just as we did when we renovated the condominium lofts above the Beaufort Clothing Company building several years ago on Bay Street. These units would be for sale.
Okay, great. And it sounds like a lot of activity is going on. And one thing I wanted to ask you about before we go, I know that there's some plans of the city to build a parking garage on that site. Is that still in the works?
We have a long history of cooperating with the City of Beaufort, Main Street, Beaufort, and other organizations, cooperating with them on parking initiatives, and we look forward to the opportunity to continue to cooperate with them in this vein.
Okay, fair enough. Courtney Worrell of 303 Associates, we wish you the best of luck on your project. When we return, we'll go on location with Low Country Weekly for our Out and About report. Stay where you are, the Beaufort News. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the town of Port Royal, located along the Intercoastal Waterway and Battery Creek in the heart of South Carolina's Low Country. One of America's leaders in small-town new urbanism, where visitors enjoy shopping and dining, and residents appreciate the tranquility of a quiet walking village. Come experience the hospitality and growth of a beautiful coastal community. Come experience the opportunities of Port Royal, South Carolina.
Welcome back to the Beaufort News. Now, if you'd like to know what's going on in Beaufort entertainment this week, all you have to do is watch this. Low Country Weekly has your on-location, out and about report, and here they are.
All right, thanks a lot. Well, Movie Mondays are still growing strong at the USCB Center for the Arts, where independent films are screened every week. Next up is The Citizen, director Sam Caddy's feature debut. The film follows Ibrahim Jarrah, who wins the U.S. green card lottery for a chance to become a U.S. citizen. He lands in New York City the day before 9/11, and the events of the terrorist attacks forever shape the struggles he faces on his journey to capture the American dream. It's inspired by true events. The Citizen is a gripping tale of courage, love, and perseverance. It screens Monday the 21st at 7 p.m. For more information, call 521-4145 or visit uscbcenterforthearts.com. And the new season of the USCB Lunch with the Author series kicks off on Thursday the 24th on Datow Island with a Western Christmas tale. Craig Johnson, the New York Times bestselling author of the Walt Longmire mysteries, opens the season probably in his trademark cowboy hat and boots. His new book, Spirit of Steamboat, begins with Sheriff Longmire reading A Christmas Carol in his office on Christmas Eve. He's interrupted by the ghost of Christmas past, a young woman with a scar across her forehead, and more than a few questions about Walt's predecessor, Lucian Connolly. Now, lunch is served at noon at all Lunch with the Author events, followed by the author's talk, Q&A, and a book signing. For reservations, call 521-4147 or email kingsley@uscb.edu. And cowboy boots seem to be a theme. It's almost time for the annual Boots and Bling Capital fundraiser to benefit the Wardle Family YMCA. Hosted by Butler Marine at 70 Sea Island Parkway, this is always one of Beaufort's favorite fall events. Features live music by the Sofa Kings, food and drink from area restaurants, and a terrific silent auction. Boots and Bling also promises to be tons of fun. It's also a chance to give back to our local YMCA. Tickets can be purchased online at ymcabeaufortcounty.com or in person at the Y at 1801 Richmond Avenue in Port Royal. As always, pick up a free copy of Low Country Weekly and click on lcweekly.com to get what's out and about. Back to you.
Thank you to Low Country Weekly for our Out and About report, and thank you for joining us. I'm Jessa Jeremiah. Join us next time for your Beaufort News.